Today, we have big new Genshin Impact news. Hoyoverse has been dropping some bangers recently over on Twitter. And today, we're going to talk about all the new upcoming characters, the new banners, and everything else that Hoyoverse has dropped today. Without further ado, let's talk about it. Oh yeah, and quickly, we're trying to hit 100,000. So if you could, go down and hit that subscribe button. But anyways, let's go see the new heat that Hoyoverse has dropped. Okay, well, boys, do I have some news for you. We got big updates. If we go to the Genshin Twitter page, the first thing we're going to see, which they just released 2 hours ago, is the release of Arlecchino. Everybody has been waiting for this character. It has been huge speculation that she's going to be coming out anytime now, and they have now officially confirmed that Father is coming home, and people are going crazy in the comments. I mean, there is just like a million people going insane over this. Rip Wallet, same. Arlecchino is going to be a pyro character, which we already knew because of her vision on the back. She is absolutely stunning. Gorgeous design. I think this is going to be the third Fatui member that we're getting. We had Child, and then we had Wanderer, who's technically not even a Fatui anymore. And this should be our third Fatui member. And then, of course, after Arlecchino, we're, of course, going to get Senora, right? Please. Fate grants favor to no one. Only those who would fight it with every ounce of their being may earn the right to challenge it. I have no idea what that means. Maybe it's foreshadowing something, though. I don't know. Either way, this character is gorgeous. I loved her in the story. I love her even more now. What weapon type do I think she'll be? Well, I'm of course praying that she's going to be polearm for our polearm only series. And to be honest, we haven't seen a polearm character in a long time. So I have a very good inkling that she may be a polearm character. But that's just my little suspicion. If not, I can also envision her being a sword character. Can't really see Claymore. Can't see Catalyst. I can't even see Bow. I think it has to be sword or polearm. I'm leaning more towards polearm, though. Anyways, moving on from that, they haven't drip marketed another character yet. So it looks like Arlecchino may be the only new character we're getting in the next update. But I would hold out hopes. They may drip market a second character today. We're definitely going to see on that, though. Next up, though, we got some news on the upcoming Chiori banner. The Wish of the Silken Clouds Woven. So we're, of course, going to have Chiori and Ito on the banners, and then we're gonna have the Wish Epitone Invocation, which is gonna be Chiori's new weapon, and Ito's old weapon, which is a very good claymore for him specifically. And then of course we get a few more inklings on the Chronicled Wish. Let's talk about it all. So first up, Chiori's banner is gonna feature herself, of course, and she looks like a pretty good character from what I've seen. I'm hoping she'll live up to the potential of Albedo, but we'll have to wait and see. So as for right now, I'd say Chiori is like a maybe good pull, but definitely not a priority pull. Same thing with Ito. He's not a priority pull. He's good, but he's not like crazy out of this world good. And to be honest, Geo has basically completely fallen out of the meta. The only good Geo character nowadays is like Navia and Zhongli. Okay, that might be a little harsh, but to be honest, Geo is not the greatest element ever, but it can still work. And to be honest, they'll probably still change the upcoming Spiral Abyss to try to make you pull Geo characters, so Ito can be worth it if you like his big personality. As for the 3 stars on the banner, we got Goro, Yoonjin, and Dori, which is interesting to say the least. Let's go over all 3 of them. Goro is bad. Okay, that's a little harsh, but he literally only works with Arataki Ito. He can support no other characters in the game other than Arataki Ito. He's not even really good with Navia. I guess he can support Noelle Ningguang if you're like a super Copium player, but he's not a great support, to be completely honest, unless you plan to use him and Arataki Ito specifically. So I don't particularly recommend picking up this banner just for Goro, but if you like furries, well, you may have another opinion. As for Dori, kind of the same opinion, to be honest. Dori is an okay character, but she's completely and utterly outclassed by Kuki Shinobu anyways, because Kuki has a continuous electro output, which Dori does not have, so it makes her worse for a majority of team comps in the game. Not to mention, she's like the most hated character in Genshin Impact. She is a decent healer, but again, Kuki Shinobu is just better, in my opinion. Her skill doesn't really do all that much, to be completely honest. But if you are bored like me, you can make her into a main DPS. As for the last character, Yunjin, she's probably the best of the bunch. Her burst is, in my opinion, one of the best bursts in the entire game, to be honest. And particularly when you pair it with characters that do normal attacks, like for example, a Sino, for example, a Yoimiya, for example, a Tartaglia, it's actually really, really good. My favorite pairing has always been the Yoimiya Yunjin one, so I actually really like Yunjin as a support, and she's definitely the best of the three. But that being said, it's a very character-specific banner. These three supports definitely aren't the most versatile ever, so I'd definitely say it's like maybe a 3 or 4 out of 10 for the 4 stars on the banner, and then the 5 stars are decent, but it's definitely not a must-pull by any means. Moving on from that though, we have the Wish Epitome Invocation, which if you want a defense % sword, which I think the Uraka Misaguri is. Oh no, I'm mistaken. It's a crit damage stat stick weapon. Ooh, that's actually really nice. Normal attack damage is increased by 16%. Oh, that can work with a lot of characters. And elemental and skill damage is increased by 24%. After a nearby character deals geo damage, the aforementioned effects increase by 100% for 15 seconds. So it's basically meant for Chiori. There's really no other characters in the game that can make the full use of this effect other than geo characters. And if we sort by sword geo, you'll see that there's 1 and 2 after Chiori drops. So unless you're pulling Chiori, I don't recommend getting this weapon. There's really nobody else that can make the full use of its effects. And especially when we have weapons like Mist Splitter in the game, which are just inherently better for most characters. Same thing with Primordial Jade Cutter. I don't think this weapon is as worth it. So I really wouldn't put any high priority on this weapon event wish. Plus it has the bell on it. So yeah, definitely not worth it. Then lastly, for the Chronicled Wish, which we already know pretty much about, you can select one character, you have a 50-50, you lose the 50-50, you get the guaranteed. We already know about most of the weapons and most of the characters. The only interesting thing we learned is that this actually has an end date to it and it isn't permanent. So this is probably going to cycle through phases. And so this phase of Chronicled Wish is actually going to end in April, I believe. But for this phase, we have Eula, Mona, Albedo, Klee, Diluc, Jean, which is overall pretty good if you want to go pick any of them up, or their specified weapon. And you do have a 50-50 chance of getting it, which isn't terrible, but you do lose some wishes for some character-specific banners. But I would probably hold off rolling on this, because now that we know that it cycles, we could potentially see some better 5 stars on this banner in the future, because the ones we have on it right now are slightly mediocre. But other than that, I think we've pretty much covered everything. Let me know your thoughts on the new Chronicled Wish system and some of these new banners. Do you think they're good? Mediocre? I want to hear it. But anyways, that's going to be it for me today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I'm going to see you all in the next one. Peace.